Welcome to Rio Reactions. I'm Wally.
And I'm Dave.
We spend time finding the deepest, the most mind-bending videos that we can find so you don't have to go search and find them. So tune in with us. Be sure to like and subscribe if you like what you see. Thanks for joining us.
I am shook. I'm shook. Guys, you will not believe what I just found out. This is how I know that they put stuff in plain sight, and you wouldn't even know that unless you read the Book of Enoch. Disclaimer, I read the Book of Enoch as history, not scripture, and I can tell you why in a whole other video. I want you to look at the Paramount logo. How many stars do you see on there? 22. Right? In the Book of Enoch, there are 250 angels that came down to earth, procreated with mortal women, and created a ravenous species of giant. You're probably like, okay, how does 250 go into 22? There were 22 leaders of the fallen angels listed here by name. Y'all know what they did. We talked about it on my channel, teaching humans heavenly knowledge, like trying to predict the future with astrology, teaching us about makeup, reading, writing, all these things. We were supposed to be childlike on this earth. We were not supposed to be getting into all the stuff that they brought down. When you watch the Paramount intro, you will see the stars floating over the water, aka the deep. And you know, on this channel, we have spoken about the demonic marine kingdom and how in the Bible, the deep could possibly be referencing the darkness, aka the devil, which is why on the new earth there will be no sea, and could be one of the reasons why Jesus walked on water, to show dominion over the ocean. Don't forget the fact that the women that procreated with the angels were cursed to the sea to become sirens. That's a whole other video. Anyway, so you see them floating over the water, referencing them to darkness. And what do? Congregate over this mountain. When the fallen angels came to earth, they landed on a mountain called Mount Hermon. These angels were a third of the angels of heaven because they rebelled against God with Lucifer. A decimal for 1/3 is 33.33. The coordinates for Mount Hermon is 33.33. Y'all tell me this is not mind-blowing. Tell me. They put it right in our faces. Who they serve, what they stand for. This goes to show that television programming, they're programming us, channeling certain visions in our head. It all connects. It all makes sense. I could talk about this all night. Don't get me started. Anyway, make sure you guys like and follow and comment down below what you think. I am shook. I'm shook.
Man, I want to have a conversation with her. She's on top of her shit right now.
She is on top of it.
So Roswell, New Mexico flooded. So I was looking some things up and I found something interesting. First, for reference, they got 5.78 inches in one day, which broke the record since 1901. Historical. So then I look at the map to see where the flooding is, and I notice that Roswell is on the southeast corner of New Mexico. There is a project with the U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service, and they would like 700,000 acres of land for federal control for conservation. Now, this land is actually owned by you and me. So I'm looking for this land that the government wants, and I start going through the counties because this land they want is in New Mexico and Texas. And I notice Chavez County, and that's where Roswell, New Mexico is. And I guarantee you none of those people got flood insurance. Man, there is no telling what Mother Nature's gonna do next. So Roswell, New Mexico flooded. So I was looking at some things.
I really don't think it's that hard to believe that they could have control over the weather. And we can control water on land, right? We can dig trenches, canals, whatever, and control water. I really don't think it's that big of a stretch that they can push the clouds around.
People don't realize how much knowledge is actually kept secret in the Vatican archives. 85 kilometers of shelf space, 35,000 volumes of catalogs, logging over 1,200 years worth of records. By 2018, it claimed to hold the equivalent of 180 terabytes of data, said to mainly store documents relating to the Pope, internal accounts of the Church, and other significant historic records. But up until 1881, no one but the Pope's inner circle was even allowed inside, so who knows what's really hidden down there. Even today, the secret archive is not accessible to the public, but only to certain scholars and under the most bizarrely specific conditions that you could imagine. First of all, any living pope needs to have been deceased for over 75 years before any documents collected during his time become available. Then, only academics who undergo a very thorough vetting process are allowed access, and also need to request special permission to anything they want to look at that can take months and may not always get granted. And even then, they wouldn't be able to just walk through and browse the archives to find what may be of interest. No, you need to specifically request the exact documents that you want to look at without ever stepping inside. Can you see how that might be an issue? 85 kilometers of shelf space. That's 2 marathons and will take the average person about 16 hours to fully walk through. Yet, they're required to request exactly the volumes they want to study from this monumental catalog without actually looking through it. And if we don't know certain volumes even exist, there's no way anyone can ask for it. Meaning, there is a lot of text down there that we will never know about. I'm not saying they're hiding secrets of, I don't know, Atlantis or the end of the world in these archives. Also not completely denying that they might be. But 35,000 volumes is an astronomical amount of information, and if they ever did want to keep something a secret, this would be the best place to hide it. People don't realize how...
It is kind of interesting how highly controlled access to that information is, and how much of it is there.
Yeah.
Like, what is going on with that? What is the reason for that? To have so much of it and have it be so highly controlled and very few people actually getting in to see it. What's going on there?
It's the same reason why they hoard vast amounts of gold and artifacts. It's not just books, artifacts, gold. It is strange.
What would be the reason for, let's just go with the information piece. Like, why would you want to retain and control this information so closely and tightly? Why wouldn't you just make it open to the public? Like, why wouldn't they have like a project digitizing all this information and giving it out to the world?
Because it's a huge hierarchy and we are in the lowerarchy.
Make sure you hit a like on this video so we can raise our hierarchy up. We'll take you with us.
So if you look at a clock, you'll realize that it has 12 sections. And if you look up at the sky, you'll realize that it has 12 sections as well. 12 zodiacs to be specific. And just like a clock, the stars rotate 15 degrees per hour. So in 24 hours, it makes a full 360. The sky literally is our clock, and we live within it. We live in a giant electromagnetic biomechanical realm, and we have been trapped in time and space via the confines of the physical body, so that we have to work for things in order to get them. This is all here for us to learn lessons, for us to realize that we can't just get whatever we want when we want it. Not in the physical world, at least. We have to learn how to be good people first. We have to learn how to do the right thing. So this creation is not some big mistake. We're not some giant spinning potato, spinning around upside down in outer space, zooming around the sun. It doesn't make any sense. We live in a perfect creation, and we are the center of the universe. This was for entertainment purposes only. So if you look at a clock, you'll realize...
Yeah, but he's still on flat earth theory here. And he's also saying that we're the center of the universe. I don't buy it. I don't think so.
What I think he's saying is that Earth is perfectly created, and from our viewpoint, Earth is the center of that created universe.
A man named Claymore was downstairs working on his laptop alone around 4:53 a.m. when all of a sudden he hears a scratching sound and a bang come from the door behind him. This door leads to his basement, and the first time this happened, he was completely terrified. But after happening a few times, he decides to start recording. This is what he captures.
Alright, so that right there is my basement door, right? I'm downstairs by myself. It's like 4:53 in the morning, and I just started hearing that. I have no fucking idea what it is, but I'm down here by myself. Everybody's sleeping, just me. Ain't the first time I heard this shit either.
He hears knocking sounds coming from the basement door downstairs, but doesn't dare to go and check.
And I just started hearing that.
A few minutes later, he hears the same tapping, but this time, it comes from inside the bathroom. So he goes to check it out.
See if anything else happens. I mean, I hear the shit every night. It's... the fuck? Okay, that's never happened before. Now I have to go check it out, otherwise you guys are gonna be like, oh, it's probably somebody in there. Let's go see. I'll show you guys right now. Ain't nobody in this motherfucker right here. And it is empty. Yeah, no, that one was weird. That's never actually happened before. That's new, at least.
The bathroom light turns on by itself, but when he enters, there's nobody there. We can also hear what sounds like the shower curtain move on its own. The very next night, he hears the knocking coming from the basement again. This time, he musters the courage to go and check it out. Watch closely.
Alright, you guys are in luck. You wanted it, right? There it is. Ain't me knocking on shit. Ain't nobody down here, right? You fucking hear it. Now, you guys are gonna say, oh, it's somebody in there. It's an animal. Nope. Let's go. The fuck? So who's down here? Nobody. What the fuck? Nobody down here? Nobody downstairs? I want to hear none of that bullshit about, oh, it's somebody. Ain't fucking nobody. We hear that shit every single night.
He opens the door right at the time of the knocking, meaning that there's no time for someone to run away. And as he goes down to search the basement, there's no one there. Not sure what it is, Claymore just heads back upstairs and shuts the door. The following night, he sets up a camera recording while he's working so he doesn't miss it. And it doesn't take long for the sounds to start. He rushes to the door and quickly opens it and turns the light on, but is unable to capture anyone there, so he just returns back to his desk. After doing some research on the history of the property, he discovered that it was originally a bar back in the 1920s, and later became a restaurant before being turned into a home. Other than that, he hasn't found anything specific that could indicate that the basement is haunted. A man named Claymore was downstairs working on his laptop alone around 4:50.
That is definitive proof right there.
Not to me.
Some of those places are just so precise and intricate
if you had a lot of time and a lot of workers and there was a localized deity or something that you feared or like you relished so much, you might build things that are pristine no matter how much time it takes. And we lack that nowadays.
Yeah, but I don't think they could achieve that precision with hand tools.
Right?
I don't think they could with a hand tool.
Yeah, and that stuff's so old and it still looks good for how old it is. Can you imagine what it looked like when it was first made?
Dude, so awesome. All right, that's all we have for this video. If you're still with us and you like this kind of content, hit a like on the like button. Make sure you subscribe so you can catch us in the next one, and we'll see ya.